Are you currently renting or looking to buy property? Perhaps you have already bought the property you are currently living in. This is the ultimate guide that will deep dive into property ownership versus renting. Everyone's circumstances are different, and it is not a one-size-fits-all. The right choice depends on your financial goals, lifestyle, and local market conditions. Many homeowners listening to this video may not like what I have to say about homeownership, but I am saying it in a perspective of logic and numbers. Your emotions may get the better of you when it comes to homeownership, but don't let that overtake logic and realities of life. If you cannot handle it, please click away. In this instance, you must be able to control your emotions so you can think clearly and logically. But looking at it logically and putting in the numbers, it will be clear to see which option is the better choice. This video will contain a case study and will assess the pros and cons of each. I hope this is an eye-opener for most people and will help those looking to buy or rent to make a better choice. Property ownership has long been a belief that owning your own home is the dream everybody seeks to achieve. But with rising cost of living and mounting pressures, this dream is becoming harder and harder to achieve. The past few years, post-COVID, has been tough with rising inflation and interest rates, making buying a property harder than ever before. This is when you see people moving back to their parents' home or creating a shared living arrangement. Typically, first homeowners tend to live in their property no longer than 7 years. After this period, they move elsewhere or upgrade their home. This is due to expansion of family or new job opportunities and career development. When people purchase their home as owner-occupied, they tend to think or believe that it will be their forever home, and they wouldn't want to be anywhere else. This is purely emotional at the beginning and completely neglects logical realities of life. Life does happen and things change, circumstances change, and some of these may be outside their control. Hence, preparing for things to come can help alleviate issues that may arise. Think of worst-case scenarios and formulate plans on how to overcome them. Create a buffer, and always prepare for the worst that may come. By and large, it is always wise to prepare for worst-case scenarios in every situation of life you are involved in. This is to alleviate stress and mitigate risks. This is one major downside to home ownership, as you may be forced to sell and even worse sell at a loss if the current market is bad. Governments tend to promote home ownership by providing grants, support, and stamp duty exemptions. This is to entice people to purchase their home to live in. This is exactly what they want to keep the bank's cash flow strong and keep them rich and stay in business. This is not to demonize banks. In fact, you can leverage using banks to make you richer and build your wealth. They can help fund your investments and buy you assets and grow your wealth. If you use banks, the smart way, purchasing assets instead of liabilities, this can actually work with you in achieving your investment goals easier and quicker. One example of using banks to grow your wealth is purchasing an investment property. If bought correctly, you should be able to create enormous wealth in the form of capital appreciation and have ongoing cash flow in the form of rental income. But using banks to purchase an owner-occupied property is not very wise, as I see it as a liability. It is costing you more than it is producing any form of income for you. It doesn't produce you any income at all, hence it's a liability as it is costing you money. This is a different story if you are able to purchase your dream home fully paid in cash. It is very rare that someone can purchase their home outright with cash, no loan. Thus, majority of people, about 70%, have a mortgage attached to their property. Usually, a mortgage loan term is 30 years. This encourages the homeowner to continue working and trading their time for money to earn an income. This is to keep you in the workforce and keep the economy running. As you earn more and work more, you are taxed more, and you end up spending more too. This means more money to the government, and the home loan interest you are paying the banks means the banks are getting rich of you. When you work a job and you own a home with a mortgage, you are essentially working hard for the government in form of taxes and working hard for the lender, usually a bank, in the form of interest repayments. Although, when you purchase your home, the title is under your name, but reality is, the banks own the property as the loan is secured against that property. If you cannot make repayments, the banks have power to repossess that property and sell it on your behalf. I will make another video detailing the system built around our lives and the reality we all live in. So please stay tuned in, subscribe to my channel so you won't miss it. You will be wise to realize this phenomenon and do something about it. It is a cycle designed to keep you working for decades to come. It has been instilled in us since day one, as a child, to teenager, to young adult, and to adult. It is only when we are old in our 60s we realize it all. It is a long-standing belief that you must own your own home for security and building a family. When you realize all these facts I have instilled in you, ask yourself, is it really ideal for your situation? Does it fit your long-term plans of financial freedom? Let me tell you right now, if you own a home and you have a mortgage attached to it, plus your only income is a working income in the form of a job, then you will never achieve financial freedom. You will actually remain poor for years to come, and you will stay in the rat race longer than you intended. You will realize you are so tired from your job but cannot quit as you do not have a backup to fall back on, and you have a home loan repayment to meet each month. This is a tough situation to be in. Typically, the cost of owning a house is much more than renting a property. Later, I will provide one case study to look at the numbers so you can make a better informed decision on what works best for you. You not only need to meet monthly repayments, but you also need to worry about paying council rates, water rates, insurance, body corporate fees if applicable, and maintenance and repair costs. The worst part is, all of these are out of your own pocket, and none of it is tax deductible. Contrast this to buying a property for investment purposes. You will be able to claim all property-related expenses, and if your total expenses outweigh your total rental income, then that property is considered negatively geared, and you will be able to use that against your total income for the financial year and save on taxes. Negative gearing is just a bonus, and it should not be the main reason you buy an investment property. If the reason to buy a property is purely to save tax via negative gearing, then you should not buy an investment property. It is the wrong strategy to implement, and you will have trouble building wealth this way. You want to buy property with the ultimate goal of building wealth through capital growth with a strong year-on-year return on investment, plus cash flow that will enable you to hold the property longer to realize a strong capital growth. Once you build up enough equity, you can use that as leverage in order to buy another investment property or asset that will accelerate your net worth further. Think of an investment property as a tool to use as leverage to enable you to purchase more assets, such as a business, that will produce you strong cash flow. Build up your business and ensure it is scalable and have a system that can be automated so you can make it as passive as possible. This can free up your time to obtain more assets that will all work hard for you to make you money. This will over time replace your working income, and you can slowly and gradually reduce your working hours per week in your job. When the weekly passive income exceeds your weekly working income, then you can comfortably retire or work on your own terms when you want. You now control the game, you call the shots, and your money is working hard for you rather than you working hard for money. When you are in this position, you have more power to create more assets and build an empire to make you ultra-wealthy. I went slightly off at a tangent here as I got so much flow of information flowing through my mind, but let's get back to property. An owner-occupied property also means if something goes wrong, such as family breakdown, it becomes harder to sell, not as liquid, and if the market is bad, you may lose a lot of money and take longer to sell. Let's do a case study. Let's say you are wanting to live in a certain location and the house you want to live in cost $3.5 million. You do not have enough cash to pay out entire $3.5 million, so you require to take out a home loan. For purchases above $1 million, you require 30% deposit minimum for most lenders. For $3.5 million, you need $1,050,000 cash as deposit. Plus, you need an additional $207,500 stamp duty costs, plus legal fees such as conveyancing. All up, you may be spending about $1.2 to $1.3 million. The banks will fund 70% of the purchase price, so you will have a home loan of $2,450,000. Using the current variable interest rate of 6.1%, you will be paying $14,847 per month for the next 30 years. Assuming interest rate remains unchanged for the 30 years, if you add up total yearly repayment costs alone, you will be almost $180,000 per year paying for repayments. This is not even including utility bills, council rates, water rates, and insurance costs every year. Worst part is, these costs are not tax deductible. Now let's contrast the same property, but to rent it out. You did some research, and you find out it costs $2,500 per week to rent. This is about $357 per day to live in. Times this by 365 days for the year, you are looking at $130,357 per year costs to live in it. You do not need to worry about paying anything else except utility bills you use such as water and electricity and gas costs. The landlord will pay for council and water rates. Any repairs and maintenance required in the house also incurred by the landlord. Considering all of these facts through numbers, does it look more clearer which is the more logical option to go with? This is straight facts, and you cannot deny numbers and facts. Form your own conclusions on which you think is the better choice for your circumstances. As mentioned, before, it is not a one-size-fits-all scenario, and everybody sees things differently and have different goals. If your goal is to achieve financial freedom early in life while still young and healthy and able, then purchasing an owner-occupied property with a loan will make it incredibly difficult to achieve it. It is better to reassess your goals and aspirations if you go down this path, because financial freedom is not it. Watch my 8-minute video on being on the path to financial freedom. What does financial freedom mean to you? This is a great video that has received a lot of attention and positivity. Personally, renting is a smarter and wiser option if you aim to build your wealth and stay on the path to financial freedom. You will have stronger cash flow that will free you up to invest into income-producing assets. It is also flexible, giving you control and choice to freely move if the current place you live in is not for you. This is especially helpful if you have a bad neighbor or neighborhood is not good for your family, then you can easily move out and rent elsewhere. It takes more time and is harder to do this when you own the home. This is because it can take weeks to months for a property to be sold. It is not a liquid asset compared with selling shares in the share market. There is a concept known as rent vesting. It is essentially live where you want to live by renting a property and use your free cash to invest into property. Renting for lifestyle, owning for wealth building. Building your wealth this way, you can create equity from your properties and use them as leverage to continue buying more investment properties and continue the cycle. This is as long as your income with serviceability and capital is enough to continue building your property portfolio. This is where renting is more useful when borrowing for an investment property. When you already have an owner-occupied home loan, it will be harder for a bank to lend you more money as your borrowing power may be significantly reduced. If you just rent and not do anything with extra cash that you have, then it makes this entire concept useless. Take advantage of renting by investing too. Educate yourself and learn on which assets are best to put your money to work that will enable you to achieve your investment goals. There is a saying that goes that rent money is dead money. This is true if you don't invest your capital to purchase assets. You must purchase assets to grow your wealth. Invest into capital appreciating assets and business with strong cash flow. You will surely be on your path to prosperity and financial freedom. Recapping on which is better to rent or to buy. The short answer is both are good based on which angle you look at it. Emotionally, owning your own home is ideal, but that emotion is short-lived and is usually highest at settlement when you move in. Years later, you may find out wealth is not growing at all due to most of cash is tied up on paying repayments. Contrasting this to renting, it is more a logical and wiser choice if wealth building is the primary goal. You will have stronger cash flow and have less to worry about in terms of paying multiple bills and liabilities. Renting is just paying rent and utility bills. That's it. Less worrisome and frees up more time, devoting time and efforts to purchasing assets to build wealth. I hope this guide and deep dive exploring risks and benefits of both renting and owning a home helps you make a better decision for your circumstance. So, what's your next step? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more content like this, and share it with someone who's ready to level up their financial game.